Hey guys, this is Stefan. How are you? Today we're going to talk about the pose system of Luma Pro. And as mentioned, probably you figured out when you bought it, Luma Pro comes with I think about 180 some poses from some of the cooler pose vendors on Second Life. And the cooler thing is you can actually add your own poses to it, and you can add both motion captures and non-motion captures. So I thought I was going to walk you through the system today and make sure you got a good understanding of how it works here. I'm going to just take a HUD and make a copy of it so we can start with it here. And here you go here. So what happens is when you do it is I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to pick Samantha as my model here. And when you pick a pose, you just click on the pose buttons here. And I'm just going to pick pose 1 here. And hopefully in a second, she'll turn her AO off and hit the pose. There we go. And it lands her on the ground. So yay, first pose is on the ground here. What you have beyond just be able to do a simple pose is we've got this pose wheel here. And you can just kind of walk through all of the poses that are sitting inside this thing. So if you're in the middle of a shoot, you can kind of bounce around and look at the various poses that are in here. If you actually go into local chat, you can actually see the pose names coming up here, and life is cool. Obviously, when you have this many poses, hitting next isn't terribly easy. What you can do beyond just hitting next is there's this thing called a pose filter here. So let's say I'm wanting to find those body shot poses that were there, SHOT, and hit submit, and it pops up and says there are 3 poses with body shots. Here they were before here, and it brings up all 3 poses, and you can just hit next. And so this is a quicker way for you to find a specific pose that you're looking for within the system. So let's talk about how you put poses into the system. Within the option menu, either when you're on poses, you can hit option, or you can also hit the same options up in here. There's a few things that you can do in here. One of them is you can just delete a single animation. So let's say you're walking through your animations and you find an animation, you're like, ah, this animation is terrible, I never want to see it again. You can just hit delete animation, and it asks you to type YES to make sure you didn't accidentally push it. And now that animation's just gone out of your HUD forever. Now, let's say you want to make a version of your HUD, and since the HUD is copy, you can do that, and you just want to clear out all the animations just to start with a clean slate. There is, under options, there's delete all animations. And then when you type YES, now it's removing every single animation out of the HUD, so you can have a clean start. This is a whole bunch easier than doing it any other way. And now when you click on it, there's no animations selected here. Okay, so let's talk about how to get animations in. I've been experimenting with this, and I think Second Life is acting a little bit better these days than it was a year ago. We can actually use the backup server to get even new animations into it. So let me give you an example here. If I hit res, I can res a backup server, and it's this little thing that looks like a camera. You can actually grab it and wear it and hold it in your hand if you want, but it looks like a little camera, and right now it says it has no pose entries in it. And I've already got one preloaded, and I'm just going to do it with that. But effectively, what you do is you just go in, and I've got about, actually I can even touch it and tell you how many animations are in it. It says there's 29 animations in this little backup HUD right here. So what I ended up doing is I just went into my inventory, right-clicked edit, and then I just pushed the animations over into the contents folder. And now I have these animations in here. And all you need to do is just click the backup server and now hit restore. And you'll see some chat going in here, and it's transferring these animations. And now, boom, the 29 animations that were in here have now been blasted into the HUD. The copies are still in here. As long as your animations are copy, you can just make copies over it in here. And when we click on this thing now, you can see that I now have hit the back button. There you go, pose 29 here. So this just has 29 animations in it and I can just step through it with the pose wheel here. that I'd loaded in just this particular time. So this may be like animations you buy or motion capture animations. I don't think I have any motion captures in here. By the way, one of the things I love grabbing onto is AOs for men and women. I'll buy them and pull out some of their standing animations and some of their sitting animations. They have a little motion to them, but they're not crazy like dances in terms of taking photos, so they work pretty good. Okay, so let's talk about this thing. And if you notice, the pose has a 1 and a 2. And what this allows you to do is to actually catalog your animations. Maybe you might want to catalog them by sits and stands. You might want to catalog them by male and female. You may want to catalog them by one or the other. But in either case, if you press the catalog on 1, it brings up the ones that you've designated as 1, or you can press the 2 button and designate 2. I actually click, if you click between the two of them, it brings up the 1 and the 2. And if you guys ever figure out a way of getting a graphic for that, I would love to figure out something here. I don't have anything good here. But on the options menu, you can do this thing called make a catalog. And it says we're going to sort these animations into group 1 and group 2. It may take a little time. Press continue. All right, so now it's just going to walk through all 29 animations. And for each of these 29 animations, you can judge. I'm going to judge these into male and female. So if it's female, I'll make it 1. Male, I'll make it 2. And if you click between them, it'll end up on both the male and female list. So I'll say this one is male and female. Looking at the next animation, I can go, let's make that female only. Male and female, definitely female only, male and female. I'm just going to pick some random pose numbers for this just to blow through it. And it's going to walk through all 29 animations, or however many animations you have into your HUD. And when it's done, they're now cataloged. So if I click both, it shows me all 29 animations. If I click on the ones, it'll show me the ones that I catalog specifically as female animations. And if I press the 2, it shows me strictly the male animations. This also works with the pose filter too. So I could say, find me animations with the letter, I don't know, I'm just going to pick A in the pose name. And then I can go look at the strictly female animations with an A in it, or the strictly A animations with the name in it, or click in between and get both. On the pose filter, when you're done with the pose filter, you can type all as it says in the description here, or under the options menu, there is something that allows you to clear the filter on here. And as it says, clear the filter on the animation so you can just see them all. I think that's about it. By the way, you can have effectively an unlimited number of poses. I've loaded up to about 1,100 poses into my HUD without a problem. However, if you do decide to catalog your animations, it actually has to store that in memory, and there's only a limited amount of memory per script. You can get about 300 or so, maybe 400 if you're cataloging, so just keep that in mind as well. That's it. I hope you guys have fun. Bye.